Hello children, welcome to VDS Learning School. Today we shall discuss the second chapter, Reproduction in Plants, from Startup Science Grade 5. Children, Earth is the only planet which supports life, isn't it? All living things must reproduce. Now, what is reproduction? Well, it is a process by which living organisms produce new organisms of the same kind. For example, let's take the cat. Cat gives birth to the kitten, whereas dog gives birth to the puppies. Human beings' offsprings are referred as children, isn't it? So here we can see a living organism, that is the cat, which gives birth to the kitten. So it is producing a new organism of the same kind, and that is only called as reproduction. In simple, children, producing new individuals from its parents is called reproduction. Hence, reproduction is an important process for the continuity of life on the earth. Suppose the reproduction stops, what happens? None of us will exist on earth, isn't it? So, reproduction is a very important process. Since our chapter is reproduction in plants, we will learn how reproduction happens in plants. So, reproduction in plants means is a process by which a new plant is being produced from the parent plant. For example, now if we sow a mango seed in the soil, what happens? After few days, we will get a mango plant, isn't it? So that is only called as reproduction in plants. Normally, plants reproduce through seeds and also through other plant parts like leaves, roots, stems, etc. So this is all about reproduction, children. Now we will see the keywords. The keywords are reproduction, which we have discussed now. Then we have got the structure of a seed, germination, cotyledons, dispersal, explosion, Carifa crops, and the last we have the Rabi crops. Children, moving on to our second slide, we have got the structure of a seed. So in this slide, we will learn about the structure of the seed. So please refer to the figure over here when I explain. Children, to know more about the structure of a seed, we need to take few bean seeds, and then those seeds need to be soaked in water for 2 to 3 days. And after 2 to 3 days, take out the seed and observe it carefully. We can see the size of the seed is increased. That is, the seed has swelled up. The size of the seed is being increased and swelling is there. That is because the seed has absorbed the water, and that's why it is being swelled up. The outer skin like covering that has swelled up is known as the seed coat. So the swelling part is only called as the seed coat. So the function of the seed coat is to protect the seed. Now remove the top skin. We will find seed leaves. After you remove the top skin, we can find small leaf, and that is only called as cotyledons. Children, cotyledons are the part of the seed that forms the first leaf when the plant germinates. Okay? So the function of the cotyledon is to provide food to the growing plant. When we separate these cotyledons, so now we are going to separate those cotyledons and see what we'll find inside that. We will find a baby plant inside. Okay, and this baby plant only which grows us into a seedling. So children, seedlings are young plant that grows from a seed is only called as the seedling. Well children, I hope you have understood the structure of a seed. We'll move on to the next slide. Here in the third slide we have got the germination. So germination means now we saw the seed is developed into a small plant, isn't it? That is that full process where the seed develops into a small plant is only called as germination. So hence the process by which a seed develops into a seedling is called germination. Children, development of the seed into seedling is not a single step. Okay, a seed has to go through many stages before it is being grown into a plant. So we will see what are the stages which is involved in this. Okay. So the first stage, we need to sow the seed in the soil. Okay, good soil, the seed has to be sown, and we need to water it regularly. So when we water it regularly, what happens? It makes the seed moist, and also it helps the seed coat to be broken easily. Okay, and the seeds gets its air from the atmosphere and the warmth from the sunlight. So this is the first stage where we are sowing the seed and watering the seed. In the second stage, after few days, what happens? The seedling breaks the seed coat and comes out of the seed. So the seedling breaks the seed coat and comes out of the seed. The seedling gets food firstly from the cotyledons. So we have discussed in the structure of a seed what is the function of the cotyledon. So the function of the cotyledon is the provide food to the seedling, and then it also gets food from the soil. So the soil needs to be fertile, and because of the soil only the plants get more of its nutrients. Okay, so in the third stage what happens is the seedling develops into roots and shoot. Okay, so the root penetrates in the soil and that absorbs water, minerals, nutrients from the soil. Whereas the shoot, which is the organ system of the plant, okay, which gives rise. The shoot gives rises to stem, leaves and flowers, children. So moving on to our fourth stage, which is the last stage, the seedling. The seedling now develops leaves, branches and finally grows into a plant. And this is all the 4 stages of germination. To make you to understand much better, I have given 2 pictures over here. So we will look into the first picture. In the first picture, we can see that the seed is being sown in the soil. And in the second stage, what happens? The seedling breaks the seed coat and comes out of the seed. You can see that seed, that small, the seed has been opened up. Okay, it's broken and you can see the seedling coming out. Okay, and in the third stage, the roots and the shoots are being developed. And then in the fourth stage, seedling develops leaves and grows into a plant. In the second picture, you can see with the example of a tomato. Tomato seeds are being sown in the soil, and then germination happens. Okay, and then the seedling comes, and then what happens? The matured plant. So it is good to refer the figures when you are learning. Children, now we have got dispersal and its agents. So what is dispersal? Children, dispersal means spreading or scattering. That is only called as dispersal. Okay. Children, all seeds do not grow into plants. Okay, whichever we sow in the soil, the seeds, all of them will not germinate. Some do not germinate. And we'll see what happens. Why it does not germinate, we'll see. Okay. So some seeds get damaged by animals, insects, wind or water. Okay. That time what happens? So the seeds might die when it is getting damaged. And sometimes what happens, some seeds grow very closely to each other. When they grow closely to each other, what happens, they will not get sufficient amount of light, water, nutrients from the soil. Due to this, only few of them will survive and the rest might die, isn't it? When we don't get enough of light, water, nutrients and all, what happens? It is very obvious that the seed will die. To avoid growing very closely to each other, the plants take help from agents like wind, water or animals to scatter their seeds. Okay, these agents, that is the wind, water and animals, they carry the seeds and scatter them away from the parent plant. Okay, so this process by which the seeds are scattered away from the parent plant is called as dispersal, children. Okay, so dispersal means very simple, the seeds being produced by the parent plant is being scattered or being spread at different places, and that is only called as dispersal. Now we will discuss about the agents which help in the dispersal of seeds. Okay, so there are 4 agents which helps in the dispersal. The first one is the wind, the second one is the water, the third one is the animals and the fourth one is the explosion. Children, now we will learn each of these agents in detail. So the first one is the wind. Children, you can just have a look at the picture over here. This is a dandelion seed. Okay, so normally the seeds of the plants like cotton, dandelion are being used for the dispersal of the seeds through wind. Okay, through wind only the seeds are being dispersed. Of which type of plants? Cotton and dandelion. Why? Because these seeds, okay, these seeds are very light and they have wings or hair on them. Because of this feature only, it is easy for the wind to carry the seeds. Okay, and that's how the wind helps in the dispersal of the seeds. Second one, we have got the water. So the best example for the water is the coconut plants and lotus flowers and lilies, children. Okay. Now in water what we will see is that water helps in the dispersal of most of the seed. So like this coconut plants always grow in the coastal areas, isn't it? We can find whenever we go near the river sides or near the sea and all that, we find coconut plants. Okay, the seed of the coconuts are very fibrous or spongy. Okay, because of this feature, because it's very fibrous, this helps the coconut to float on the water. Okay, when the waves, what happens, this coconut falls inside the water. Okay, when it falls, what happens? Because of the waves and all that, the coconut starts moving from that place and it starts floating and keeps on moving, and then when it reaches the land, they germinate and grow. Okay, and that is how the water helps in dispersal of coconut seeds. And even in lotus, what happens is the lotus or water lily, the seeds will fall in the water only, since these lotus and water lilies are the aquatic plants. So when the seeds fall in the water, due to the force of the water, the seeds are being carried away. Okay, and then it goes to another place, and over there it starts germination. Okay, and the seeds grows into a plant over there. Children, third one is the animals. Human beings and animals eat flesh fruits like apple, mangoes, etc. And after we eat the fruit, what we do? We throw away the seeds, isn't it? Those seeds only get germinated into a new plant. And similarly, children, even birds also eat fruits, okay? And they swallow the seeds. So what happens? The seeds does not get digested in the birds. So it comes out in the form of feces. So feces are the waste material which passes out of the body of the human or animals. Okay. And then when it comes out, what happens? It also germinates into a new plants. Okay, and some seeds are they have sticky hairs, some seeds, okay, and they have got bristles, hooks, some seeds will have. And what happens when these seeds sticks onto the fur of the animals or even the clothes of the human beings, that time the seed is being transported, isn't it? Okay, it is being transported, and wherever that person feels that something is on my cloth, what he will do? He will dust his dress, isn't it? So that the seeds will fall down and it germinates over there. And hence animal also is an agent in the dispersal of the seeds. The fourth one, we have got the explosion, children. Explosion means bursting. Like for example, you can just see the picture over here. It is a pea plant, okay? And look at the picture, how the pods are being bursted. Okay, these bursting of the pods happen when the seeds are ripe and dried. When it becomes dried, what happens? It bursts open. And when it bursts opens, the seeds are being scattered everywhere. And when it is being scattered, what happens? A new plant grows. Okay, so the scattering of the seed is away from the parent plant. And hence, germination of a new plant happens over there. So this is all about the dispersal and its agents, children. Now we'll move on to the reproduction from other parts. So in the beginning of the session, I told you that plants will grow mostly through the seeds only, isn't it? But there are other parts of the plants which helps in growing the plant. So which are the parts which are being used to grow a plant is roots, stems and leaves. For example, now stem. So if you want to grow a rose plant, we can just take a stem cutting of the rose. And then if you sow that into the soil, we will get a rose plant. So stem is being used over there. Okay. Then carrot and radish is also grown through the roots. Okay, and leaves. For leaves, best example is the plants like money plant and aloe vera. So if you take the leaves and plant it, you will get the money plant or aloe vera plant. Okay, this is all about the reproduction from other parts. Children, now we have got the crops and animals. Children, why do we need food? Food is required so that the body makes energy and we can do all the other activities, isn't it? So, plants only provides us food. Okay. And plants also provides us oxygen, medicines and also wood, isn't it? With the wood only we make so many furnitures. And of course, many Ayurvedic medicines are being done with the plants and herbs only we use it. And for breathing, we need oxygen, isn't it? So, plant helps us in all this. So, we grow plants on large scale. So, we can get enough of food and other products to fulfill our needs. So, practicing or growing plant on a large scale for food and other products is only called as agriculture. Okay, and then we have got crops. So children, crops are once you enter into any field. So what farm field, what we will find, we can find the full field has been with wheat or rice or anything like that, or any pulses is being grown over there, isn't it? We cannot find varieties of plants in one field or one plot. Okay, we will grow only one crop in one field, and that is only called as crops. Plants that are grown in field in large scale is called crop. And then where the place or the land or the area where we are growing these crops like wheat or rice or ragi we are growing, and that land or that area is called as farm. And who does the farming? It is the farmer, isn't it? A person who works on a farm is known as a farmer. Children, what are the points while growing a crop? What are the points which we need to consider or keep in our mind? That we will discuss in these slides, okay? So different crops grow well in different types of soils. We know that we have got black soil, red soil and all that, no? So the soil has to suit for the type of crop you are growing. So it is very important to choose the right soil to grow the crop. And then also we need to see that we need to see that the crop which you want to grow should be very specific. Okay, you can't grow whichever crop you want in whichever soil you want. You cannot grow like that. We have to grow it correctly. Okay, and it is very important to use a good quality of seeds. When we use good quality of seeds, what happen? We will get a good crop and a healthy crop. If we use bad quality, what happens? You will get a bad crop, isn't it? So we have to choose a good quality of seeds. And then children, there are different season for growing different crops. Okay, there are two types of seasons. One is Kharif crops and other one is the Rabi crops. So in this Kharif crops are the seeds that are being sown at the beginning of the rainy season, and that's why it is called as also called as monsoon crops. So rainy season starts in end of May up to early June only is our rainy seasons will start, isn't it? That time only we need to sow the seed. Okay, when we sow the seed at that time, the harvesting will happen in the October. Okay, so when we are sowing the seed in the rainy season, and that's why it is also called as monsoon crops. Okay, so the crops which are normally sown in the Kharif crops are rice, maize, ragi and groundnut. Okay, next we have got the Rabi crops. So Rabi crops are normally sown in the winter season. Okay, so our winter season starts from November to April, isn't it? So, okay, that's why these Rabi crops are also called as winter crops. So normally the crops which are grown in winter is wheat, barley, peas and mustard. Children, one more thing, it is very important to sow the right seed in the right season, because the crops grow only in certain temperature, humidity and soil pH levels, children, and that's why it is very important. So after sowing the crops, what is important? We need to water the plants regularly, isn't it? If we don't water, what happens? The plants will dry and die, isn't it? So the crops needs to be watered regularly. And also children, the crops might get damaged by the pest, birds, grazing animals and diseases, and hence we need to protect these crops, isn't it? But how do we protect them? See, we can do proper fencing. So when we do proper fencing, what happens? Animals won't come. Okay, so animals won't come and graze all the crops over there. So when we do proper fencing, we can avoid the animal entering into the field. Okay, and second one, we have got spraying chemicals called insecticides and pesticides. This is done because some crops, what happen, we will find small insects which might be eating the crop. Okay, like insects, rats, weeds and all, these are called as pests. Okay, they will come and eat all the crops. To avoid that, what we have to do, we have to spray insecticides and pesticides. And then using scarecrows. Children, scarecrow is like a doll, children, which is being made up of straw. Okay, and then we dress it up with an old clothes and all, and we fix it to the pole in a field. This is done so that we can prevent the birds from eating the crops, and that's why the scarecrows are being placed in the field. And at last, after when we do the harvesting and all, we get the crop, isn't it? That time the crop has to be properly stored in the containers, sealed containers, to avoid any type of insects entering and eating. Or when rain comes also, if you don't have proper containers, what happens? All the water gets inside the crop and it will spoil the crop, isn't it? So it is very necessary to use proper sealed containers. So children, this is all about the reproduction of plants. Okay, we have come to the end of the session. Please share, subscribe my channel. Thank you so much, children.